The third Hercule Poirot movie comes to theaters this weekend, A Haunting in Venice. Is it good? Let's find out right now.
Somebody is dead. No one shall leave this place until I know who did it.
As I said in the intro, A Haunting in Venice is the third movie in kind of like this murder trilogy directed by Kenneth Branagh. The first one was Murder on the Orient Express. The second one was Death on the Nile. And this one, A Haunting in Venice. To preface, the first one I think is okay. The first time I watched it, I liked it a decent bit. The second time, I thought it was pretty dull, pretty boring after you know what really happens. Death on the Nile. I think Death on the Nile has some fun moments, but overall I think it's an ugly looking film because it was filmed during COVID and nothing looks great in that film because of the bad sets that were used. But A Haunting in Venice really takes us into an interesting point because it takes the character Hercule Poirot while he investigates a murder while attending a Halloween seance in Venice, Italy, which is actually a pretty decent place for this movie and actually a pretty funny place for this movie because a lot of movies this year have used Italy in some form or way. This is like the fourth movie I've seen this year that has used Italy. It's actually kind of hilarious. But yeah, we have Kenneth Branagh back directing, and he's back as the main star of the movie. You got Tina Fey in this one. You got Jamie Dornan, Michelle Yeoh just coming off her Oscar win, Jude Hill. Got a pretty decent cast here. I would say probably this is the weakest cast of the trilogy though, because I think the first two movies have some better cast members, but I think the cast is actually pretty decent here. And I wasn't going into this one with big expectations. To be honest, I went into this one pretty blind. I didn't know what was going to happen. I didn't really see the trailer. I don't really go out and look for these kind of trailers of movies that I'm not really that interested into. This one I kind of left kind of feeling mixed in a way, but decently positive. I want to say that this movie did make me kind of sleepy. It was pretty relaxing. It was a relaxing movie, I gotta say. It didn't make me tired because it was boring. It made me relaxed and tired because of how slow we were moving, how not a lot of very big things were happening, and the cinematography of this movie was actually very, very nice. It looked great. Probably one of the best looking movies I've seen this year. Probably not top 5, but maybe top 10. It's one of those movies that you just look at and watch, and it has some great shots, just makes you very relaxed. And just the scenery of Italy, as I gotta say, and when we're at this when they're at the place that they are at doing the seance, I thought every shot looked great. The seance scene was actually pretty good. And I gotta say that I love the Dutch angles in this movie. Sometimes Dutch angles are really not done well, but I loved them in this movie. I thought they were great. And will I say this is the best in the trilogy of Poirot movies directed by Kenneth Branagh? Probably, yeah. I'd probably say this is the best, but I just came out of it, so my thoughts could change in a week or so. But I would say this is the best because it mixes mystery and horror, which I really like. I really love when there's a horror mystery. I feel like that's a really good genre that not a lot of people tap into. But I feel like these movies are somewhat all the same. The mystery aspect isn't that strong in every movie, and I feel like there's no really rewatch value on these movies for me. Kenneth Branagh, I think his directing is good, but I don't think the character really does make me want to come back. I don't really see a lot of rewatchability for this movie, so let's just say that. The best in the cast would probably be Kenneth Branagh, of course. He's just amazing in everything that he does. I think he brings somewhat of a great charisma to the character, and he's kind of funny in a lot of scenes. And I just love Poirot as a character. I think he's pretty cool, gets the mysteries done. And I will say Michelle Yeoh. She has a small role in this, but I think she's great. I love Michelle Yeoh after Everything Everywhere. She's just amazing in everything that she does, and she has a kind of a big role here. And I will say that Jamie Dornan is actually pretty great, along with his co-star Jude Hill. I think they're both from Belfast, which Kenneth Branagh was a part of Belfast too. Jamie Dornan and Jude Hill, they play father and son in this, and I think they're great. I think they're both great here. There's not a lot of cast standouts, as I said, because this cast isn't as great as the first two movies cast, but I still think that we have some great additions to the cast. And I will say that Tina Fey is in this cast, and honestly, I think she is miscast. I was worried that she wasn't gonna really fit the role and fit this kind of movie, and I was right. She's just It doesn't seem right that she's in this. It just seems kind of weird. She's the only person that I think is really out of place in this movie. So I would say that she's really miscast in this movie. She doesn't feel like she should be in this kind of movie. And I will say that the horror mystery mix, as I said, is great. I love how there's a mystery element and there's some horror scenes in here. Not a lot of scary jump scares, so don't really get worried about that. It's not really like The Nun 2 last week where we had some crazy jump scares, but I just felt like the horror element was there and you could feel it. And you could really feel the mystery element. I feel like the mystery element worked the first 30 to 45 minutes, but then I felt like it just went downhill, felt really weak, and the reveal felt really cheap for me. Yeah, I couldn't guess the reveal, but that's because I didn't want to guess a reveal that felt that cheap. So I don't think the reveal worked for me. You know, I wish it would have worked for me, but as I said, all three of these movies in this trilogy, I feel like the mystery element is really weak and the reveal just doesn't really work for me. It just comes out of nowhere and they just spring it on you at once, and I'm like, that doesn't really work for me because there's no really hints that I would have noticed. So you just don't really plan it, and I didn't really feel like the mystery and the reveal worked for me as a whole. So A Haunting in Venice, you know, I feel like it's the best one in the trilogy, but does it make it a great movie? Probably not. So overall, I'm going to give this one about a 6.5 out of 10. It's good in a lot of parts. The cinematography is amazing. We'll say the editing is also pretty good, but overall, disappointing for me. I mean, I didn't go in with too many expectations, but I will say it's just okay. I probably won't go back to it. I'm more excited for the movies to come in about 2 weeks, but let me know if you guys watched this movie down below in the comments. Did you guys like it? Did you enjoy it? Also, quick question. Did you guys like the new editing in these videos? Did you notice I updated the lighting and editing a decent bit? The lighting mostly. I hope you guys did enjoy though. Make sure you leave a like if you did enjoy this review. Subscribe to the channel. I upload almost every day, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.